It allowed me to kind of dive a little bit deeper into my own thoughts and feelings and attitudes around money, and just how much like childhood can greatly like impact, because your parents are the first example of how to deal with money.
Yes.
And it's definitely not taught in schools. At least where I went to school, it was not taught.
Welcome, everybody, back to another exciting show of the About That Water podcast, where we help you build strong financial habits so you can feel confident in talking about money, being around money, and even just having an awesome opportunities when they come to you. So one of the things that I want to talk to you about today, and I'm bringing a guest on, is about having money and the social aspect. And one of the people that I want to bring up is Constance. Constance, how you been doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Yeah, I'm a certified financial social worker. It's a new specialty in social work. So a lot of people don't really know about it. It's about 20 years old. But I went and got some additional training past my clinical license to learn how to better support clients who want to have a better relationship with their finances. So as financial social workers, we take a very like holistic approach, multidisciplinary approach, to help clients explore their feelings, their thoughts, their the psychology behind it, environmental factors, and attitudes about money. And during this self-exploratory process, clients are able to really understand why they make certain decisions around money, and develop healthier habits around their finances.
So now that you're speaking my language when it comes around these habits, what is the number one habit that a lot of people have a hard time breaking?
I would say just not knowing like where the money is going, and not really being thoughtful around and conscious about where their money is going. One of the things I really try to encourage clients to dive deep into is my decisions around money, is it related to what's important to me and what my values are? And taking I guess a deeper dive around who they are and what's important to them, and making a more conscious decision around how they allocate their money.
Yeah. And do you have an example of like where most people spend their money or that they didn't know that they really spend it there?
Food.
Oh. Like DoorDash or something like that, just always ordering out.
Yeah, like little habits, that they developed over time, whether, during like the lockdown, where like almost everybody tapped into, the delivery service of some sort, whether it was groceries or DoorDash, like you said, and not really taking into consideration like all the fees associated with accessing food, in an easier way and more comfortable way.
Yeah, they just make life so easy to take the money out of your pocket.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, because I order out at least weekly, like every Friday, because it's like I don't feel like cooking. It's the end of the week. I'm tired from doing everything else, running around. Like just press a button, just have something sent.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that as long as that's important to you, right? Like if that brings value to your life,
Yeah.
and if Friday is like one of those days where you just don't want as much pressure and you want to just relax, and that's important to you, then that's totally fine. It's more about just being conscious around the decision making and how you spend your money.
Yeah. So did you find a place where you found out that you spend the most money on?
Yeah, food. Definitely food. But I wasn't surprised because I like to eat. I like to cook, and my husband likes to cook. We like to spend time with loved ones by like going to like new restaurants in the area. So definitely that. When I was a new mom, we spent a lot of money on daycare and childcare, which is crazy. Like we were spending almost as much as our mortgage at the time. So that was an
Wow.
expense I wasn't excited about, but I knew that, for the safety of my child and, she deserved like quality care.
Hmm.
Um, and so it was kind of like a balance of like, hey, like that is a priority of my, in that season of my life. And I saw the benefits for my child, to have that service. But yeah, of course, I wish childcare was a lot more affordable for not just me, but for everybody.
Right. Totally get it. Cause I was researching on like how some of these blenders now are just made just to make baby food and that you can make your own. So were you one of those people that were making your own baby food? Oh,
No,
you're
no, no, I was not.
like shoot, just grabbed all the thing off the shelf.
Oh yeah, I was one of those moms.
Nice. So I never heard of a financial psychologist. Not like a financial psychiatrist, but a financial
Social
social
worker.
worker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you even get into that field?
Um, well, I always was interested in finances and always interested in like how two people can make like the same amount of money but like spend it differently. So the behaviors and psychology behind how people spend their money. And so I started tapping into like um, different forms of media around finances, and I started to share that like with my family and loved ones, and I would sit down with friends and family on giving them tips on like how to budget and just to be mindful of like where their money is going, um, and other quick financial tips that I had learned listening to podcasts and reading financial books. And so during the COVID lockdown, my sister-in-law found this certification through the Center of Financial Social Work,
Hmm.
and they were running a promotion. It was like a really good deal. I think it was like $300 off for the certification. She had known, me for helping family and loved ones with finances, and she thought that would be a good fit for me. And I had a little bit more time on my hands during the lockdown, so I spent about 3 months doing the certification. Um, and it's about 20 hours worth of work, so it can be pretty busy, but I really found it engaging.
Yeah. So like how long was the test itself when you finally took it?
The actual test or the certification?
Oh, this like the certification that like don't they have like a end test? Because most certifications that I take is just like one big test at the end. It's like usually about
Yeah,
six
yeah,
hours.
it's a lot. So the beginning part is just like all the material, so you have to take time, and it's self guided. So you have 6 months to finish the certification. Um, but the material is more than just like these are facts around finances and basic financial literacy. It also encouraged the people studying to do some interwork and
Mhm.
reflect on their relationship with finances, which I really like. Um, and I found that really helpful. But at the end, I had to take a test, and then I had to do like an essay around a field or a specialty of finances that I found most interesting, and share that.
What did you find most about yourself when you went through that process?
It just kind of allowed me to just be conscious of my decisions around money and the uh, environmental factors that have impacted my view on money. It
Mm.
allowed me to kind of dive a little bit deeper into my own thoughts and feelings and attitudes around money, um, and just how much like childhood can greatly like impact, because your parents are the first example of how to deal with money,
Yes.
and it's definitely not taught in schools. At least where I went to school, it was not taught. So um, my family was like the very first example of finances and how to manage it.
Yeah, and I think most of our families are going in that direction. growing up, because it was almost like, why are you in grown folks' business and
Yeah.
mind your business, and like, are the lights on or you not? Because I remember
Yeah.
growing up, we didn't even have the lights on sometimes. Like we had to go out to the store or we go out to the mall. And I'm just thinking like, okay, well, we're going out to the mall, not realizing that the bill wasn't paid and then the light switch doesn't work. So it was just showing up. Oh, okay, the lights don't come on. Just find our way up to the bedroom.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Tough
definitely,
time.
I'm sure that impacts, how you view money the older you get.
Yeah, definitely. So what did you find out? Like, what was your first fear of money?
My fear? Oh, definitely not having enough.
Okay.
Because growing up, it was kind of like, I mean, I'm one of four, and it was just like, there were times where, I mean, I'll give an example. Like we always thought it was like a treat to have like breakfast for dinner, but that was
Hmm.
like when our groceries were dwindling. So, but it was like, as a child, it didn't really seem like an issue. It seemed more like a treat, but the older you get, I think you kind of become more aware of those things.
Yeah.
And growing up, it was kind of like when my parents would have discussions about money. We had to, like you said, like go to another space as kids. We weren't like allowed to sit in this space. We heard it, but we were not allowed to like sit in the same room. We always had to go downstairs in the basement and play or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So now that you are a parent, how are those money conversations happening now?
I try to just incorporate it through teaching my daughter like independence around money. I'll give an example. So my daughter's 5, so she's still pretty young, but she is really into numbers and learning on account. And so she's also like in this stage where she really wants to be helpful. And so I kind of combined, hey, like this is her strength. Like she really wants to be helpful around the house. So I just give her 2 chores that she has to do. She has to clean the table, like put all the dishes away, and she has to um, uh, she had to feed our dog in the morning. Um,
Okay.
and so she gets $1 a week, but I even dived a little bit deeper with her. Like when I give her the money, like sometimes I give it in coins.
Mhm.
So I teach her like, hey, this is a quarter, this is 25 cents. So, or sometimes I even break it down even more. I'll have like dimes and nickels. And so, I just take an opportunity to kind of share with her like, this is a nickel, this is 5 cents, and like this, let's count to 100, like when we have our coins. So, she really likes that part. I mean, she's also in a stage where she likes to go shopping. So, getting that $1 a week is like a big deal to her. But I also like see a sense of pride when she does help us and we praise her and, you know, say, hey, it's time for you to collect collect
Right.
your allowance for the week, and we talk about it. Um, so yeah,
So, like, how is it when she wants something that's outside of the range of how much money she has?
yeah. So we have like a Amazon wish list for her, and
Hmm.
we just add to it. And so sometimes like we'll just wait until like her birthday or like Christmas, like if it's a big ticket item, we'll talk about that. Um, but if it's something, little, like she's really into like getting like the kid friendly like nail polish, just like $5 or $6. We'll talk about that and we'll look at our account, her little bank, she has a little piggy bank.
Hmm.
And we'll see what we have. And then sometimes after she realizes how much she has, how much she has to spend, she's like, oh, never mind. So,
Okay.
I think that's another conversation of like, hey, like this seems cool, but can I wait for it? Wait to
Mm.
purchase this a little bit later.
That
Um,
delayed gratification.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, for like the big ticket items, like we just have like an ongoing like Amazon wish list. So she'll like look at what she adds, and she may say, hey, I don't want that anymore, so we take it off, or she'll say, hey, like this is something that I'm interested in, and we add to the Amazon wish list. Good thing for her is her birthday is in June. So it's
Hmm.
kind of like every 6 months she has like some like big ticket items naturally like to look forward
Nice.
to between like her birthday and Christmas. So
So lucky. So, I mean, how are affirmations utilized in your life, or do you actually have affirmations for her too?
yeah, I mean we spend a lot of time when we get ready in the morning just talking about how kind she is and how smart she is and what I do usually before she goes off for the day, whether to camp or to school, I always just remind her to like be kind and to be a good leader by being kind and don't be afraid to um, to show her intelligence. She's very smart, and so like we'll say, you're kind, you're smart, and be a good leader. And she'll repeat that back to me. And then I think like within myself, I like to write down affirmations that I find whether on social media or like, searching the web. I actually have a book on affirmations on Amazon I can talk about later on. But I really love affirmations. I love affirmations so much that I like the creative side of what I do kind of revolves around affirmations. So I have like my journal, and then I also have a t-shirt line. I love to wear t-shirts that revolve around affirmations.
So, can you give us an affirmation about money?
Oh, that's a good one. Let's see. I would say I am conscious around how I spend my money. Or you can even say if it's for like a daily affirmation, like today I'm going to be conscious around how I spend my money.
Hmm. Okay, I like that. Today, because we were recording this early in the morning and I haven't spent any money yet. So I'll be conscious about how I spend my money today.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, that's amazing that you already start her morning off with affirmation. You start your morning off with affirmation, and the husband starts his morning off with one. I'm sure he participates.
Yeah, I think we
Okay.
do it more independently.
Okay.
But like, yeah, because I think I spend a little bit more time with our daughter, like getting her ready for the day. But he'll take her to school, so
Gotcha.
he always, in his own way, I think he does also try to like continue on like the affirming attitude, taking her to school.
Yeah. Because the reason why I'm asking all these questions about like how you utilizing this in your real life is because you've been doing this practice since since 2022, and to see your growth already and how you're actually living the talk that you're actually helping out your clients with. So how has the dynamic of the finances in the mindset of people as they grow into learning financial, I guess you could say the financial domain.
So like their mindset, how
Mm-hmm.
it should. I would say that in terms of mindset, I feel like you always have to have like a growth mindset and don't ever get comfortable around um your growth. And I think it's like it's definitely ever changing because we all go through seasons of life. And so I feel like you should always do like an ongoing like assessment of what is important to you and how you're spending your money.
That's good. And what does an assessment look like?
Just a check-in. So like for me, for example, like we actually have a budget that we look at, my husband and I once a month. And we also look at our calendar to kind of see what's happening. And like for example, like literal season, summertime, we usually spend a little bit more money because the weather is nicer. We'll go travel. My daughter's in more camp. And so just kind of prioritizing that, the fun part. So that just means that, hey, like, we're going to spend a little bit more money on that. Also like our hobbies, like when the weather improves. Like I'm gardening, so that's, a little bit more money than I normally would throughout the
Hmm.
year. Um, but yeah, I think it's like an ongoing assessment. I think it should be, and not just money, like other aspects of your life, like what is important to you in that season of life.
Yeah, because I believe there's a study that says things that are tracked are the things that you can actually measure. And if you can measure it, then you can actually set goals. You can set priorities. You can prioritize your finances, prioritize your happiness, prioritize, life happenings. And that's a thing I think a lot of us kind of forget when we doing so many things over and over again. And those things kind of shadow a lot of stuff like real life happenings. If there's an
Yeah,
emergency, like you got to make sure you have your money ready, the mindset to remember, oh, yeah, I do have this money off to the
yeah,
side to take
yeah,
care of
yeah,
life expectancies.
yeah, and definitely like being conscious of that and being okay. I mean, sometimes, like I deal with clients on the other end where they're kind of saving and they get to a point and they continue to save and they don't really know why,
Mm-hmm.
or if it's like time to pull that money for an emergency, there's just a lot of guilt still behind. Like, hey, like I don't really want to do this. I don't want to pull, but it's like that's what it's for,
Yeah.
and having peace with that.
So I'm going to go back just a little bit because I do have a wide range of people that listen to the show.
Yeah,
So for like new parents, because I know it's kind of fresh for you like 5 years ago, but I'm sure you can remember it like it was yesterday or
yeah.
last week, really. um, so leading up and you finding out you're pregnant, how was it like your finances during that time frame, like saving up? Did you think about saving at that time? Were you already conscious about it? Or was it like, okay, shoot, I got this baby. Do I got enough insurance?
No, we were definitely pretty proactive in like planning around finances and what that would look like. Making sure we had some. We both were working jobs with like benefits for like short-term disability, but we also saved additional money. Like knowing that with like short-term disability, when you take it for leave, maternity leave in particular, you don't get like your whole paycheck. So we
Really?
made sure that yeah, it's like a portion. I think it's like 75%. At least
Mm-hmm.
that was like my benefit. And so just like making sure we had that. And trying to think what else did we prepare for. Um, One thing that we did do, um, that I don't think we were conscious of before getting pregnant was we went ahead and we got life insurance.
Okay.
We had like a private life insurance. So we had it like through our employers,
Mm-hmm.
but we wanted like I guess a more robust or like more money basically for like our benefit. So
Fair
we did
enough.
go
Yeah.
through that process. I remember going through that process.
Okay. So you got your life insurance together. And you had made sure that your leave is set up through the benefits of the employer. Did you say you guys saved as well? So you looking at like thousands of dollars for this, or are you talking about like, $100,000s for the baby
Oh
to
no,
come
just
out? Okay.
thousands.
Okay.
Just
So like
thousands.
five
Yeah.
thousand,
To
like
kind of
five
like
thousand roughly.
supplement. Yeah, about
Okay.
that. Like just to supplement like my income changing.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
That makes sense. Okay. So and then the baby comes, everybody's happy, you get her home, and then do you just like look around and be like, oh shoot, we need to get outlet plugins and we gotta get the corners done. Like, did you guys do
No,
all
you're supposed to
that?
take classes for that. You're supposed to do
Oh,
that
there's classes.
before. Yes. Yes. That's one cool
Okay.
thing. Like the hospitals that like I know at least the hospital that I gave birth in, they had like a birthing class and they tell you like all the stuff you need to do and usually go around like 4 or 5 months
Hmm.
pregnant. So you have time to kind of get your house ready and all that. And especially, but what I'll say is when you have a newborn, if you don't have like that stuff ready in terms of like safety plugins and all that, it's okay. Because a newborn doesn't really move for like the first 5 months anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, you still have time if you don't do that. But yeah, I would say like just I think it's important, especially with your new, if it's like your first child, if you're new to parenting, definitely tap into classes, and they're pretty affordable. Like that, where you're going to birth, the birthing center or the hospital. They
Okay.
offer. Sometimes they're free, and sometimes they're pretty affordable. So they want people to kind of go and explore and ask questions.
That's good to know. I
Yeah.
mean, because, in these times, and let's say what, 5 years ago? Oh man, so that's right around COVID. Wow.
Yeah,
I just spit it
I
back in.
had her. Yes, I had her June of 2019. I went on leave
Hmm.
that summer pretty much. And then I went back to work, and I was at work for I think about 6 months, less than 6 months. And then we had the lockdown. So then she was back at home with me, and I was back at home with her.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for sharing that. For those of you who are listening and actually are planning on a baby or have a baby on the way, I think you might want to play this back a little bit. Start planning out today. Now, did you find that the calendar was helpful for planning for the baby? Like, I'm just curious about the whole baby process
Okay. Yeah.
because I mean, I know we talk about social work here, but I believe this is part of the work. I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken,
It's
because
another
the
part of my
children are
identity, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Part of my identity too, right? And
yeah,
part of my experience that, in terms of like being able to relate to my clients,
hmm,
they could be going through that season of life. So I definitely understand that.
yeah.
But yeah.
So now that you guys had the life insurance before then, now once she was born, then y'all added her to the life policy, the life insurance policies.
So yeah, she's one of the beneficiaries. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys did a term or whole life? Which one you guys?
We did term.
Okay.
Hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I asked because there's so many different varieties. Because some
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh, which one should I get?" But
Yeah.
obviously, this is just her personal one. For those of you who are listening, this is hers. You can pick your own. If you want whole life, get whole life. If you want term, get term. I just ask because you never know. Everybody's situation, financial situation, is different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like for me, I have whole life and term. It's only
Okay.
because it was like term is a little cheaper. It's a lot cheaper actually.
Yes, it definitely is.
And whole life, I was like, let me just start a small one just because in case I do get cancer for any reason or stuff like that, I can tap into it to kind of help
Okay.
while I'm alive.
Yeah.
And that was just for me.
Yeah. You have to see what works best for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like if you're gonna get started and you just want insurance, I think term is the most affordable way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but also talk to your professional
Yeah.
person.
Just
Please do your
our
research.
perspective. Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, you've been doing this for 12 years. Do you feel as though this is kind of like an underrated position, like job career for those who are looking into becoming a social worker?
Yeah. I mean, I would say it's new. So I don't think a lot of people know about it. Uh I when I present to other social workers, a lot like half of them have never heard of the specialty within the field. Um, but in terms of social work in general, we I feel like it's kind of like a field that um, it's kind of hard to have conversations about finances. Um, at least like within the field. One of the presentations I did with the North Carolina National Association of Social Workers conference last year was very interesting because at the end, when we had Q&A and comments, we ended up having a really good conversation about how in the social work field, it's kind of taboo to have a discussion around money and value and salary within the field or and asking for more because it's kind of like our field is termed a helping field, and so I think society looks at helping fields as like, okay, well, these people are helping the community, and that should just be good enough. But at the end of the day, we most of us are passionate about what we do as social workers, but we provide a value to society, and we should be compensated
Right.
more than we are. because we do a lot. We do a lot, and we look at the whole person, and we make big differences in our clients' lives. And I think more and more social workers are starting to see their value in what's in the profession, and more and more people are starting to have conversations about bonuses, pay raises, um, and their value in that role. So I think it's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that is great because for me, like as a teacher, it's kind of, they didn't pay well. So that's one of the reasons why I didn't continue on that route. But I continued on the IT route was because of that, the pay process. And I mean, how can I put it this way? What was the challenges financially with the social work, being a social worker? Because some people would think like, yes, I do want to help society, but also I have bills to pay, to kind of really make sure it's a good fit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it is. I think most people that go into social work have the impression that they're not going to make a lot of money,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it's more for the passion. Um, but I think so my education is in social work. So I went and got my undergrad in social work, and I went and got my master's in social work, and I went and got my clinical license in
Oh,
social
you
work.
love this? Okay.
Yes, I love it. But what I was very conscious of was, hey, like all this schooling costs money,
Yeah.
and just being mindful of opportunities that are available, whether it's scholarships and fellowships, as you go along the educational journey, to help like reduce student loan debt that you may acquire, knowing that your first year you may not come out making a whole lot of money. So just being conscious of decisions around acquiring debt to attain um, your your professional degree. Um, I read an article that in Michigan, certain schools are starting to offer full ride scholarships to people who decide to go to school for social work. Now you have to make, I think, a few years of professional commitment to the state of Michigan. But I
Mm-hmm.
think just learning more and more about like opportunities that are available to you and that are within your community that will help you get your professional degree and tapping into it is going to be really helpful for anyone who's trying to enter the field, especially knowing that you're not going to come out with your master's degree or your bachelor's degree making a whole lot of money.
Yes. That's I
Yeah.
think that's one of the things that a lot of people forget. It's like just because you signed up for it and it sounds cool, you still gotta look at the end game.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an investment. So you have to kind of be mindful of that.
Yeah. So talking about being mindful, this is going to be about the futures. The third segment of the show, which is where do you see yourself, or what skills or habits that you feel that will take you to the next level?
Well, I want to be just more mindful of what is good in my life, what is working in my life. So to me, I naturally, because I'm a social worker, look at like my individuals in a holistic way. And so, just pausing and saying, hey, like, there are people in my life that bring me joy, spending more time with them, um, doing more joyful movement, such as walking with my husband around the neighborhood, being more conscious of like getting up earlier to do that. Um, Spending more time with my daughter. Like, we love to color together, and just on the weekends when we have more time together, like just being intentional of doing that. And then in terms of my business, talking more and more about financial social work and what I do in my field and my specialties, and connecting with people who are in like similar professions, or to just continue to make partnerships. Um, so, yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything that you want to leave the audience before we dive into the final four questions?
Um, I I shared with Rita, who is the founder of the Center of Financial Social Work, that I was going to have this opportunity. And so at the end, when I shared my contact, if you are interested in learning more about financial social work, you can reach out to me, and she provided a 10% discount for people who may be interested in the field and getting certification.
Awesome. That is really good. So, I mean, continue listening. So, you ready for the final four questions?
Yeah, yeah.
All righty. Number one, what does wealth mean to you?
Wealth is, again, holistic. Um, and to me, it's good health, good people in my circle, and having the freedom to spend my money on things that really matter to me.
Number two, what was your worst money mistake?
So I have two. I have they both happened around the same time in my life, in my early 20s. So one mistake was spending money on my boyfriend at the time, my fellowship money that I got in grad school. I got him a computer, and we ended up breaking up anyway. But doing that,
All right.
I could have saved that money. And two, around the same time, maybe about a year after, in my 20s, I was in Chicago, and I was driving around with my grandfather in a up and coming neighborhood, and they had a three flat, and it needed like full rehab. And we just kept on driving past it, and I wish I would have put an offer on it. Like, I had the savings to put like a small down payment. And now that I know more about like how you can tap into real estate, and not put as much money down, especially if you're going to live in it, the benefits of that. I wish I would have did that, because now like that area has boomed and I think quadrupled in value.
Missed opportunity.
Yes.
But you know now. You know.
Yes, and it's literally like 8 or 9 minutes from downtown Chicago. Just missed it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm thinking about like the taste of Chicago. I still want to go. I haven't been yet.
Oh, it's great. Awesome. Food in Chicago is great. I miss that.
Maybe we can get a conference out there.
I know. I hope there is one. I'll definitely go.
Yeah. Number three, what is your favorite financial or non-financial book?
So I read this book called All Your Worth, and it's by Elizabeth Warren and her daughter. Elizabeth Warren's a senator, U.S. senator, and I think it was really helpful for me in that season of life because I was just entering the field of social work, and I had my first salary, and I was making more money than I had ever made in my life. And the book is really simple. It just really talks about how you should allocate your money into three categories, like must-have, like your bills that you have to pay every month, your wants, the fun part of your money, and then your savings, to just build for a better tomorrow and pay down debt. So it just kind of helped me like organize my money when I had just came into the field and started making the most money I ever made in my life.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, I'm going to add that book to my my library card so I can get it. Number four, what is your favorite dish to make?
My favorite dish to make is called cabbage stir fry. So I just shred the cabbage. You add some onions and carrots. Sometimes I'll add like a starch to it, like rice or potatoes, and then I add like shrimp to it. It's pretty good, and it lasts a while.
All right. Well, that's good. At least everybody likes it. Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone likes it. Even my daughter, she loves it, and that's my favorite thing to make. My husband does most of the cooking, so I pretty much like everything he makes.
Hear that, husband? Let's do it. Like, she's not just smiling every time she takes a bite. Well, we down to the last question of the show, which is where could people find out more about you?
So I have a website, courage2heal.org. It's the word courage, the number two, heal.org, all one word. And I'm also on TikTok and YouTube. I do kind of short videos as a financial social worker. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. And you wanted to mention the 10%.
Yeah. So what I ask is if you are interested, you can go on my website and inquire, and that'll allow you to reach out to me, and I will give it to you. I'll send you the code in the link.
And make sure you reference the About That Water podcast. Just say
I will.
All right. So cool. So everybody, please make sure that you check out Constance McConnell's awesome website. She's doing amazing things. And also she's providing so much value to the financial community space. As I said, this is the first person I've ever came across that does financial social work in this space. And I hopefully that you guys got a lot of out of this episode. And if you did, please make sure y'all share this out with somebody who's looking into the social work field. And this could be another bump or another adventure for that person that can actually help continue on to look at a person holistically from financial and all around of everything else. Thank you so much, Constance. You've been amazing.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been great.
All right, everybody. Y'all be safe. I'm out. Peace.